It's often said the opening sequence of a video game is its most important part. The game needs to grab your attention immediately if it's to hook you in for its multi-hour runtime. Whether it's setting the scene with exposition and dialogue, prologue missions, training, or chucking you straight into the action, there's 1,000 ways to start a game. Surviving by the skin of your teeth? That's another one. And the games in this rundown demonstrate perfectly how barely surviving is a great way to start. Note, spoilers abound for the beginning of these games. Dead Space 2. Set 3 years after the events of the first Dead Space game, poor Isaac Clarke finds himself once again neck-deep in necromorph outbreak, this time awakening aboard civilian space station, the Sprawl. As a series famed for grotesque body horror, this second entry wastes no time in chucking you into the action. Just as it dawns on Isaac he's being medically cross-checked, his examiner receives prompt lobotomization, morphing instantly into butterflied gore, bringing you face to face with the horrors that await. Weak and unarmed, your only option is to flee the medical wing, saving just enough strength to kick a rampant necromorph square in the jaw and slicing it in two as the secure doors close. Prey 2017. The opening minutes of Prey's 2017 reboot are legit stunning, with the helicopter ride over dawnlit cityscapes a memorable highlight. The first day of a new job is always nerve-wracking, but things quickly go south for player character Morgan Yu. During a sequence of increasingly curious tests, Dr. Bellamy's coffee cup suddenly morphs into a shadowy creature, asphyxiating him whilst filling the test room full of sleeping gas. You awake back in your room, the same Monday morning as before. But something altogether strange is afoot. You quickly learn you're in a simulation, and that immediate escape is required. But those shadowy creatures, or mimics, are hiding in plain sight, their ability to morph into everyday objects leaving you rather exposed, with just a wrench for defense. Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. The ponderous rambling at the outset of Metal Gear Solid 5 divides fans of the series. Sure, it's over 10 minutes before any sight of action, but once you're staring down the barrel of a pistol, pointed dead on by your would-be assassin, it's all tension from here on. Surviving by the skin of your teeth thanks to bandage-clad Ishmael. You're then forced to crawl through hospital corridors, your body frail after 9 years in a coma, in what must be the slowest getaway in history. Venom Snake avoids a barrage of near-death encounters, from exploding elevators, squadrons of heavily armed soldiers, and a pair of superhuman mercenaries. Outer Wilds. A game about the wonder of learning set amongst the cozy expanse of a micro-galaxy, Outer Wilds begins on your home planet of Timberhearth as you explore your village, speak to NPCs, and head to the observatory before blasting off into space. Before that, though, is the Zero-G Cave. Once inside, spacesuit donned, you're treated to your first experience of zero gravity. And it's floatingly wondrous and dumbfounding in equal measure. It's a tutorial section, basically, complete with finite amounts of fuel and oxygen. Run out of the latter, and it's game over. In the cave's dark confines, with 3 satellite nodes in need of repair before escape, it's easy to lose your bearings. For there's no way to tell which way is up. An eye-opening lesson to prepare you for the vastness of outer space. Uncharted 2: Among Thieves. Beginning on a literal cliffhanger, Uncharted 2 sets Nathan Drake the task of clinging on for dear life from the get-go, as he awakens inside a train carriage teetering over the edge of a Himalayan rock face. I mean, what a fantastic way to start a game. Nathan's death-defying ascent up the wrecked carriage whilst evading falling boulders, jumping between knackered train seats, loosening pipework, fingers gripping shattered window frames. It's insanely memorable. All bearing the cinematic quality Naughty Dog is famed for. Silent Hill. Harry's exploration through the eponymous town in the first Silent Hill game are fraught with disorientation and bewilderment. Awake after crashing his car on the way into town, he finds his daughter Cheryl mysteriously absent. Through the thick cloak of fog, Harry finds his way to an alleyway, the streets leading to its entrance having grown narrower. The scene is set, and suddenly tossing his car off the road, isn't the worst thing to happen to Harry that day. The alleyway grows tighter, its already dim light fades, and its brick walls replaced with bloodied mesh fencing, with trails of blood leading to skin corpses and hospital beds. Halo: Combat Evolved. Beginning with the Pillar of Autumn slipping out of lightspeed adjacent to the titular ring world, the first Halo game sees Master Chief hastily thawed and calibrated as the ship comes under attack from the Covenant. With no time to arm the Chief, the entire Halo series could have been over before it even began. For Master Chief must rush through maze-like corridors whilst evading laser fire from the alien hostiles. Even after receiving firepower, blasting your way to an escape pod jettisoning just as the autumn begins its doomed descent. And there's still the matter of surviving the violent crash landing on the Halo surface. I mean, with all of this happening in the first 10 minutes? It's lucky the Chief survived. The Evil Within. What a squelchy, rotten place Detective Castellanos finds himself in at the Evil Within's outset. Suspended by his feet abattoir style is unnerving, and encountering the butcher-like sadist is enough to tip anyone over the edge. Why they chose to slice the adjacent victim and not you, only they know. But once you're free, the only solution is to run. Don't even dream of killing the sadist with the knife you just found. And the tension doesn't stop there, because even deftly creeping away cuts the tripwire alarm, resulting in furious chase from the butcher. A corridor full of man-sized meat grinders, a slick chute of blood and guts, with putrid pool of blood and sewage waiting at the bottom. NIER: AUTOMATA. Arguably, the hardest part of NIER Automata's entirety is the beginning. Melee combat, aerial duels, waves of enemies, and multi-stage boss battles abound in a lengthy, unsavable section. NIER Automata is heralded for its seamless blending of multiple mechanics and gameplay styles. And this is the lesson that the game wants to teach you throughout its opening 30 minutes or so. Learn and utilize all the game has to offer, and you'll be set for the rest of its runtime. It's just, why did they have to make it so dastardly hard? So many challenging moments where 2B scrapes through, the dual robot battle, the flaming giant crane saws, the encounters with gargantuan angles. It's a trial by fire, if I ever saw one. Mass Effect 2. As epic a beginning to any game, Mass Effect 2 begins aboard the SSV Normandy. The crew swiftly abandons ship via escape pod. Shepard, meanwhile, stays to retrieve Joker, who refuses to leave himself. The force of impending destruction splits the two, with Joker safely reaching the pod, while Shepard is sucked into space. It's a harrowing moment that lives long in the memory of anyone who's played the game. Shepard's spacesuit breached, their breathing growing ever tighter, slowly suffocating on descent to the nearby planet. Okay, technically Shepard dies, but seeing as their body is recovered and reconstructed, brought back to life as it were, I thought the inclusion on this rundown would be allowed. Did you know that we at GamingBolt upload new videos every day? Stick around, drop a like, subscribe, and let us know what kind of content you would like to see in the future with a comment below.